Joining.
Here we go. Awesome. Great to see everybody. All right, give it a couple minutes. I think I saw Sheila in there. There we go. Chat's already going. Maria Louise. Maria Louise said hello. Go ahead, throw in hellos into the chat. This is all about connecting. Put your information in there. Tell us what you're doing with drones, right? Awesome. Hey, Linda. Hi, Linda. How are you? Good to
Good
see
morning.
you.
How are you?
Are you actually in the office and not
I
out on
am
the
right now.
Ah,
It's another rainy day out here, so it's not conducive for a flight today.
yeah. You know, for not raining in Southern California, there's a lot of security risk or health risk right now with all the rain that we're actually having.
Yeah, yeah.
So pretty rainy in your area as well.
Well, whatever Southern California gets, we get a day later.
Oh, gotcha. So, all right. Hi, Dave. How are you? Good to see you.
Thank you, Desi. Very good. Good to see you as well.
I just saw something come through for test flight, didn't I? Is it
Flight test?
Yeah. Flight test. Sorry.
We have Flight Fest is June 19 through 23. Thank you for asking. And it's our big event in the summer. We got about 2,500 people there last year, and we expect as much fun this year. It's a good event, and it's in Malvern, Ohio.
Awesome. Wow, what a fabulous turnout that you had.
Yes. Yeah, and it's
Ah.
lots of kids and having a great time and flying airplanes into each other intentionally and then putting them back together and flying them into each other again.
Wow, it doesn't get any better than that, right?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Where you get to crash.
That's right. You're encouraged. That's right. Please. And what's really fun is, as the Pilot Institute guy said, you know, this is really interesting. We have 200 model airplanes in the sky, and everyone is trying to hit someone else, and it's really hard. So the distance, that we are well clear is, a couple feet, and it's still really hard to hit someone.
So. And you're trying.
Yes, right. That's
right. How exciting. And then they rebuild and get to go do it again.
Exactly. We do these combat sessions about 3 times a day, and then there are huge circus tents that give us some shade to rebuild. And at the same event, we also have FPV Freedom Coalition. We show up to help fix drones, and we set up a bunch of gates to have a low pressure introduction into racing FPV drones. So lots of fun. Yeah, great event. Lots of fun skills. It is absolutely a family environment. It is that's what it's intended to be, and lots of kids and parents, and bringing kids from all over the country.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. I'm going to get there. I know it. I had hoped to do it last year, but this year it'll be definitely on the radar. All right. So before we kick this off, I do see a lot of chat already going on, and so exciting to have everyone here. We'll let a few more people in. I just made Sheila co-host. Thank you, Sheila. You'll be able to help out in the background. I think between the two of us, we tend to let people in, but it's nice to have 2 eyes on it, right? So I do want to do a shout out and thank the sponsor, Professor Drones. They design, develop, audit, and teach, specializing in UAS projects related to hazmat and pipelines. So shout out to Professor Drones. Thank you for being the sponsor for the Coffee Connection. I also want to mention that coming up for Spotlight speakers, we have Aaron Pierce with Pierce Aerospace. He'll be here next week, and Miriam McNabb will be here in a couple weeks. We have an amazing lineup, and that, of course, starts with today. right? We have Bobby, and he is here with SkyBrowse. This is so exciting because I have been following SkyBrowse for quite a while, been a user of SkyBrowse, and there is such phenomenal things that are happening with the company. So I am going to segue over to Bobby and make you spotlight for everybody. Bobby, thank you for joining us today. There's already comments about your presentation with Vic yesterday. So we have quite a few people already on board.
Oh, wow. That's thanks to everyone for watching the podcast yesterday.
Yes. So to kick this off, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into it? And I know you have a PowerPoint presentation that will probably cover a lot, but just kind of tell us how you got started here.
Yeah, I think it started like 8 years ago when I was still a student and researcher at Rutgers University, just doing research on videogrammetry, what is now videogrammetry, basically turning videos into 3D models. And there was no real world application for it. It was just pure research, code, patent research paper that I wrote. And that was it. It wasn't really any sort of product that we were looking to build out or anything. And I ended up getting into a motorcycle accident, low side of my bike, going about 60 miles an hour and tumbled a bunch, ended up in the hospital. And a few hours later, I called my friend to pick up the bike, and he still sees police officers on scene doing accident investigation. So that's when I realized, oh, like, what if we put this technology on drones and made 3D models of car crashes? So we started doing car crashes at first, and now we've kind of expanded to kind of everything just because we've noticed that videogrammetry is a lot easier and faster than traditional photogrammetry, which is taking hundreds of pictures and turning that into 3D models. Videogrammetry is just one continuous video, and you get a really good looking 3D model in just a few minutes.
Fantastic. And I know you're going to share more about the program, and it is so easy and so fast. So I think you have the ability to share your screen if you'd like to segue over.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, so this is I talked about the origin story, the SkyBrowse. Here's my motorcycle crash right there, where I ended up. I think I have a more gruesome presentation with the hole in my foot, but this is just for this is for the webinar purposes, where I got into a motorcycle accident and started off focusing only on public safety. That's why if you've heard of SkyBrowse in the past, we were primarily about public safety. And now we've kind of expanded to a little of everything. And I'll talk about some of the other use cases for SkyBrowse in today's presentation, as well as some of the exciting new product releases coming up, maybe even tomorrow. Depends on how fast we can code today. So we'll see. We'll see if it launches tomorrow. Still got a lot of code to write, so we'll see on that. But basically, since we launched our product in 2020, over 800 police departments, I think it's closer to 950 right now. Police departments use SkyBrowse for accident investigation, crime scene investigation, tactical pre-plans, natural disasters, and whatnot. And we have over 40,000 end users and subscribers on the platform. So SkyBrowse is free to use. Everything about SkyBrowse is free. That's free 3D, free 2D, free sketch diagrams and everything. And then there's like a paid upgrade if you want measurements, exports, and other tools in the system. So that's how we're able to grow really quickly with basically me doing all the marketing. So if you've read our newsletters or looked at our social media posts, I write them all. That's all me. So our models are also really accurate as well. They're centimeter accurate. I think 24 of them have gone through court so far, and none of them have ever been challenged because the models are just very good evidentiary data. They look great. They measure very accurately. All the cases get settled as a result of that. So basically, the initial premise of SkyBrowse is that accident investigation is really inefficient. Cars crash every 2 seconds, and behind the scenes of a car crash, you're doing hours of accident investigation, either lugging around a laser scanner or taking a bunch of pictures around. And it's very inefficient, closes down, highways, shuts down roadways, and causes a lot of traffic. In my case, it was hours on scene for my motorcycle accident, but it can span to days as well. And also, because of it, using laser scanners, tape measures, it's very inefficient. It's unsafe because police officers are on scene doing accident investigation, and as a result of that, you get really, really. Oh, let me do this actually. Now that my face is in the screen. So you get really bad traffic, and it's inefficient overall. So what SkyBrowse seek to do was first eliminate the tedious process of accident investigation by creating an app that is really easy to use, connects with most drones, DJIs, Autels, and the drones that we don't connect to, you can still record a video using any video source and upload that video to get a 3D model. So you can still manually fly the drone or use the drone's native app to capture a video, use like a waypoint mission, autonomous waypoint mission or something, and get that video and then upload it to our system. And it's really easy to use. You get a 3D model back in a couple of minutes. So our app supports most DJI and Autel drones on Android, iOS, smart controllers. And here's a demonstration of a 5-year-old making a 3D model right here. So we've got Toby right here with the SkyBrowse app. You just press start right here, and you'll see that the drone is flying by itself. So he's doing an orbit mission with SkyBrowse where the drone does 2 orbits around the scene. All you got to do is just fly above whatever you want to map out and press start. And the drone will do 2 orbits like that. It's collecting GPS data, recording video, all that by itself. The entire process takes about 1.5 minutes to do. Pretty straightforward. And we also have a long range mapping platform as well. So Toby's not a paid actor, but he's a 5-year-old make a 3D model right there. His dad is the paid actor, my co-host of Drones After Dark, Lewis. So you're just asking if Toby, if he had fun, and Toby's like, yeah, I had great fun. And you can actually see in the background, he turned on the drone accidentally doing that. But here's Lewis's car right here, basically in 3D, made by Toby. Took only a few minutes to process. You can see the details of the grass and whatnot, and you can do measurements all accurate down to a centimeter. So overall, SkyBrowse is really, really easy to use. So we first started off with accident investigation, and that's because if you look at all the other photogrammetry companies out there, say Pix4D, for instance, they all use photogrammetry, which is taking hundreds, if not thousands of pictures. So there's a few issues with photogrammetry. One, it's been around for 100+ years. Leonardo da Vinci theorized it, and then it became a reality in World War I. So photogrammetry has been around for a very long time. And the issue with photogrammetry is your drone or your camera, your cell phone is taking a bunch of pictures, which means you have to slow down to take those pictures. Otherwise, you'll get a blurry picture, and that's going to mess with the 3D model. So it takes a long time to capture that data. And also you get hundreds of images, massive file sizes. And also with photogrammetry, you're flying to point A, taking a picture, flying to point B, taking a picture. So you're missing those frames in between the picture, all that data that you're missing right there. So with videogrammetry right here, the drone flies at 34 miles an hour at max speed. So it really captures a lot of data because it's using every single frame of the video to turn that into a 3D model. And the file sizes are a lot smaller compared to photogrammetry itself. So it only takes a few minutes to capture the data and a few minutes to process the data. So you don't have to wait hours, or you don't have to buy a gaming PC or a supercomputer just to process your images into a 3D model. This is all cloud-based, so upload one video, get a 3D model back in a couple of minutes. You get an email saying that your model's ready. So overall, that's the core technology of SkyBrowse, and we grew to a bunch of agencies right here. So for instance, NTSB uses SkyBrowse for every single plane and train crash in America. Cal DOJ uses it for officer-involved shootings in all of California. We have a contract with Department of Homeland Security for mapping out school campuses for active shooter situations, as well as some of our other technologies that we've built on top of that, and other agencies down here, right here. So basically, SkyBrowse is really easy to use. We found a lot of traction on the public safety space, and we've realized that based off of going to conferences, we've built out a lot of other technologies based off of what end users were asking about. So one pretty neat thing is sketch diagrams right here. So we noticed that police departments were making 3D models and then putting it into like Faro Zone or like accident investigation software. And then what they were doing was they were drawing clip art cars on top of this to create this diagram. So we were like, okay, well, what's the point of using SkyBrowse if you still have to do all that paperwork at the end? So we launched something called Sketch right here, where it generates a sketch diagram from your 2D map generated with SkyBrowse. And you can see if you get the paid sketch version right here, if you generate a georeference geotiff like this, the 2D map, it'll generate a sketch diagram, face it north heading up, and scale it for you automatically. And that took what, like a second or so? And then you can click on more detail if you want more details in your sketch right here, or less details if you want less details in your sketch right here. And then you can just download this and then export it into your accident investigation software, for instance. But also a lot of construction folks have been asking if we could put it into other CAD softwares as well for their drawings, for say progress reports, for instance. So that's just one of the products that we built on top of our 3D modeling. We also have free 2D mapping. It's on our website, skybrowse.com/2D, and you get 2D maps for free because we realized that, well, it doesn't cost us a lot of money to generate 2D maps. So we just launch it for free so anyone can make 2D maps using their drone video. So that's another thing right there. And SkyBrowse for putting people into a 3D model. So these are some of the other use cases that we've built out based off of going to conferences. You've seen me at conferences. We're always talking to end users, seeing what we can build out. And we realized that, hey, what about cell phone video? We can probably build some pretty neat stuff with cell phone video. So here's one of the things that we did. This is actually with a DJI Avata, but we started doing interior mapping, which is something that we're going to release pretty soon, where a DJI Avata flew inside. This is actually the Pilot Institute office right here. And they just flew inside, recorded a video like this, and generated a 2D, 3D model of an interior space. You can see it's not going to sell any, if they're trying to sell their office space, it's not going to be as good as a Matterport or like real estate quality interior tours right here with the DJI Avata. But we have something else that might be right here using your cell phone, just facing the opposite wall. You can record a video like this and get a really nice looking interior tour of an apartment or a building or whatnot, all in 3D with measurements and all the tools right here. So that's one of the things I'm really excited to release pretty soon because it's we've been working on it for quite a while. If you look at how old this model was, this was in 2022 when they first ran the test. We wrote some code on it. It didn't look too good. The models didn't look too good. It took too long to process. So we kind of put it in the back burner. But over the past 2 weeks, I've been coding it up a lot and excited to see where it goes on that use case right there. So just some of the interior maps. I'll show you some other interior maps as well that we've made. This one with the DJI Avata. So flew from the outside and then flew in through this little hole right here, and you got an interior model inside as well. So also pretty neat for the tactical use case in case there's like a barricaded suspect in a building. You can fly a drone in and make a quick 3D model, figure out what the layout is, makes everyone's lives a lot safer right there. So that's for the tactical use case. And well, more personal thing, my girlfriend and I are looking to buy a house in Dallas. So we've been touring a lot of houses. And I was like, oh, perfect time to test out interior mapping. So I just, using my cell phone, I just recorded 1080p video of various floor plans and whatnot. And just because on their websites, there's no 3D tours. So I'm like, oh, well, I can just make my own. So made a few random house 3D models of some of the houses that we're touring right here, of just some living rooms, just showing pretty neat floor plans and whatnot. So just a quick and dirty way of getting a 3D model and pretty interesting use case. So we've got a lot of people asking about real estate and construction on that end. So that's one of the things we're excited to see grow with SkyBrowse. So we're really hoping to see SkyBrowse grow outside of the public safety space and also build products based off of that right there. So there's a bunch of other case studies that I can go through, but for the most part, SkyBrowse is pretty easy to use. It's one button press, and either the drone flies autonomously, or if we don't support the drone, then you can just record a video and upload that video into our platform. So we support all video types right there. You can see right here, this is really videogrammetry in action. If you used photogrammetry for any sort of 3D modeling of this size, it would take hours to capture this data. In our case, this took 5 minutes. That's how long the drone flight was. And I'm just taking a quick measurement just to show you how large this area is. It's about 50 acres right here. And this was just a 5-minute drone flight to capture an entire stadium right here back in 2020. And of course, you've got all sorts of tools. You've got annotations. If I want to put in like a stadium annotation right here, I can do that. I can take a measurement really easily like that. I just showed you area. You can do angle tool. So all the basic measurements are there for any sort of DSP use case, but also we've got some more public safety focused measurements right here, like showing you heat maps, elevation profile. So like if you look at just this model itself, it's kind of hard to tell which areas are sloping upwards and downwards. So you can see that the brighter the color, the higher it is, and the darker the color, the lower it is. So you can see that stuff will, if there's like a hazmat spill, for instance, up here, it would slope downwards and go down here. So really useful for pre-plans. Same thing if you want to get slope maps, figure out where that runoff would go. You could take a slope map measurement like this, and it'll give you on the X, Y, and Z axis measurements. So it takes the highest points of the 3D model, updates in real time as well, and you can see what the elevation profile is in various parts of this model. So pretty straightforward there. And of course, a cool POV tool. This is a fun one. So if I want to see which seat was the best seat in the stadium, I can just click on the POV tool and then click into here. And there you go. There you have it. Now I'm inside the 3D model. If I wanted to go up top right here, I'm up here in 3D model looking down. So pretty neat tool right here. Really useful for putting up CCTVs or just getting various vantage points of the 3D model. A few other things, isolator tool allows you to clip certain areas of the 3D model. So if I wanted to just see this portion of the 3D model, it isolates that model. And of course, you can crop it and whatnot just to get certain areas, for instance, of the 3D model itself. Some other use cases works at nighttime as well with some scene lighting. We've done a lot of testing on that. So if with some scene lighting, you get beautiful looking 3D models like this, where this was actually done by a student who's never flown a drone before right here. And you can see the model looks great. It's got really high fidelity, all the details, measurements and whatnot, and all the tools right here. So for nighttime car crashes, because most fatal car crashes happen at nighttime, you've got this beautiful looking 3D model for nighttime investigations right there. Also works with thermal as well, so that's pretty neat. You can take a thermal video and turn that into a 3D model for solar panel inspections, roof inspections, all that kind of stuff. This is actually a structure fire right here. So with the white hot isotherm of a FLIR Boson 640 thermal camera, you can see which areas are the hottest of the structure fire. In fact, here's actually the video of the structure fire. Here's the RGB video of the structure fire. So this wasn't a training exercise. We launched thermal mapping like 2-3 years ago. So the day we launched it, there happened to be a structure fire. So one of our end users mapped this out. You can see the water cannons going up. And as the drone's doing the SkyBrowse orbit right here, you'll see how much smoke is actually covering the area. It's really, really difficult to see which areas are the hottest, which areas are burning through all this smoke right here. So that's where thermal mapping comes into play, where you're able to see through all that smoke and be able to see the hot spots in this structure fire right here. So another pretty interesting use case. And of course, everything you can download the point cloud, the OBJ file. In this case, this was created in 2021, so you couldn't. But as of recent, you can download the point cloud, the OBJ, the texture file, the 2D map right here, and download all that good stuff for your analysis, for instance. And of course, all the models. If I go into my account right here, you can see that all the models can be shared pretty easily. So going to this account, if I want to look at this this model right here, I can just click on share, and then I can share either by a link by clicking here, and it's copied to my clipboard. So anyone with this link can now open it up and check out this 3D model right here. So pretty straightforward. This is more interior tests with SkyBrowse right here. So that's another interior of a room right here, done with DJI Avata. And also you could add other end users and whatnot. You can share to their email as well. So overall, the goal is to really democratize reality capture. In the past, 3D modeling is really, really tough to do. You have to be really trained on it. There's a lot of courses on it, best practices for taking the pictures, and then all sorts of tools for exporting the model into other complex softwares. So in this case, try to keep it as simple as possible so that you can make 3D models using any video and get all sorts of cool tools. And here's a pretty neat model that one of our end users made right here. This is of a tunnel. So if I go into the tunnel right here, they just recorded what's it called? Whoop, too fast. I don't know where the tunnel went right here. So they just recorded a video using a DJI Mini throughout this tunnel right here, and turned into a 3D model in just a few minutes, just like that. So really cool use case right here. And of course, you can see through walls when you're moving around. So it cuts back face, so you can see through all the walls and all that. So another interesting thing about SkyBrowse right there. And we got a bunch of other use cases, but overall, here's my contact info. If you guys want to screenshot it or record this right here, basically SkyBrowse is the goal of SkyBrowse is to democratize reality capture, make 3D modeling accessible for everyone. And we did that with our pay-per model pricing, where models start at $3. So if you don't want to pay for a subscription, if you look at other 3D modeling softwares, their price points are pretty high, like a few $100s a month. So we decided to release pay-per-model, where you can unlock individual models by going into a, let's see, maybe I have one on the test servers right here and show you pay-per-model. Maybe not, but basically, if you go into your model, there should be an unlock button. All your models are free by default, but if you want to unlock tools and whatnot, there's a recover button or unlock tools button right here where you can click on that, pay the $3 or $5 or $10. It's based off of how large your video size is and how large a 3D model is. Then you can, I think it's usually around $5 to $10 per model if you're making larger 3D models. And then you can unlock that model and get access to all the tools and whatnot, like right here. So that's the gist of it. That's what it looks like. Here's a 3D model of my cat. He was moving around, so he's got multiple eyes right here, but you get all these tools right here if you access, if you unlock a model just like that. So that's the gist of SkyBrowse right there. We will be launching a monthly subscription plan as well. That's not as expensive as our public safety plan. So keep an eye out for that. Go to our website, subscribe to our newsletter, and check, and you'll get updated on all of our updates. But I'll conclude for now and field some questions.
There is a lot going on in the chat. Everybody is just amazed and in awe. To actually quote a few, their jaw is on the floor. So, oh, amazing, amazing product. So I did put your LinkedIn profile in there if anybody wanted to connect that way. But if you could post a way to reach out to you, that would be fantastic. We do have some questions, comments, and such like that. I have to say, you know, you're using that 5-year-old as a model, and it just kind of reminds me of, are you smarter than a 5th grader, right? Here you got a 5-year-old out there. How amazing. Just shows how easy the program is to use. So there are a few questions into our chat. A lot of it has to do with like the pricing. You mentioned, you know, you can purchase just at one spot if you wanted or such like that. But if somebody wanted to upgrade, what would they be looking at in that case?
So we got an upgrade for SkyBrowse Premium. This is really only designed for public safety because the servers are very expensive. They're evidentiary servers that log your actions within the server. So if it does get challenged in court, then you can pull up who made the 3D model, who accessed the 3D model, who edited the 3D model or took measurements on it. That's not really useful for the drone service provider use case. So, and also the servers are very, very secure. It's in the same server cluster as Lockheed Martin and US Air Force. So it starts at 3,000 and scales to like 15,000 per year. So that's not really designed for the commercial drone pilots. What we have is a new pricing model to be released. I can't say what the pricing is just yet, but it will be released pretty soon, depending on how fast we can code today. And it might even be available tomorrow. That's all I can say on a monthly, affordable monthly price.
Tomorrow might be a big day.
Yeah. I mean, we released a survey. We listened to our end user feedback. We released a survey on pricing, and 900 people filled out the survey. So we have a lot of data on what end users want, because we can just send out a newsletter blast, and people will fill out a survey, and we're gonna listen to what our end users want and release a pricing that works for everyone.
So at this point, before any big announcements come, if someone was to go out and just do the flights or do the video, upload it, and they love their model, what would be that workflow of how do they pull it out? Where can they put it? How much does that process cost? Because there's so much that is available for free.
Sure, absolutely. Uploading the video is just as easy as going to our and clicking on upload, then choosing a video file, and clicking on upload. That's uploading. And you know, by default, you are on the freemium tier, so without paying for the $3 or so for the model, you don't get access to the measurements. You can still share the model if other people want to see the model and whatnot, but you don't get access to measurements. You don't get access to exporting the model, putting it into other softwares and whatnot. But if you pay the $3, you get access to just about all the commercial drone pilot tools that you need for, say, real estate tour, for instance, or construction, site management, progress report tool right there, just like that. So, and also all the exports are open source formats like OBJ, LAZ, TIFF files. You can drag and drop them into any 3D model viewer. We don't have any proprietary files or anything like that.
So that's only $3. They pay $3 and they can have access to that. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you make a really large model, like an NFL model, that'll probably be like 10, $15, based off of how large the models get.
Awesome. What resolution do the files need to be in to make a really good model, or even the AGL? You know, I know there's 2 flights involved, obviously one closer, one farther away, but what is a recommended distance?
For SkyBrowse, probably 40 to 50 feet. It's based off of how high you are. So the SkyBrowse orbits, the circles that the drone flies, is based off of how high you are. When you click on the map view, they'll show 2 circles. And if you fly higher, the circles will get bigger. And if you fly lower, they'll get a little smaller. So it's based off of that. I think up to 150 feet, you get centimeter level accuracy. Every single 3D model I've shown you today has been shot with 1080p video, so you don't need 4K for it. There's just so many pixels in a video because we're using every single frame of the video that 4K is kind of overkill. You get larger file sizes and diminishing returns that way.
There's also a question in our chat about is the 3D geometry surface only? He's worked with 3D CAD, solid modeling, for 40 years. This is Dave Messina. And the files you showed manipulate around very quickly, and he was assuming that they are not very large data files. Is this true?
Yes, that's correct. The texture files are, I think, 5 megabytes in size. We compress them a lot. So it's like the size of a picture on your iPhone. Not massive at all. You can download them and just move them around. The goal is just to keep everything quick and simple.
Smart.
And yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to add, Dave?
Just, I'm in awe. Really smart, very, very intelligent design.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I think we all are. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Could 3D models be included in pilot virtual training devices?
Ooh, I got a cool video for that. I gotta find the video
Oh,
first, but
we like
there's
video.
a really cool video.
Okay, while you're
Oh,
looking, we
yes.
can go on to the next. You got it already. Okay.
All right. So this right here is Meta Quest, but also could work with Apple Vision Pro as well, where Jeff made a 3D model. One of our team members made a 3D model of his kid's trike right there and overlaid it in the real world. This is the real trike right here, and this is the 3D model that he made of the trike right here. So just by exporting the 3D model file, the OBJ file, you can put it into anything. So in this case, he put it into a Meta Quest and was able to essentially see it and overlay it in the real world. We haven't tested it on the Vision Pro just yet, but we know for certain that it can ingest our texture files. So you can do something very similar like that, where you could say, for instance, make a 3D model of a room. And if you're in a large open space, like a warehouse or something, you can even walk into the room and use that for training or environment simulation right there. So really cool, really cool use case right here.
Yes, awesome. And going back to our chat, because there is a lot of conversation going on in the chat right now. John was wondering, are you partnered with any educational institutions?
Yes, we are. We have a few dozen universities, colleges, high schools, and even elementary schools teaching SkyBrowse as part of their drone course. And we offer an educational license as well, a pretty hefty discount for our EDU end users to teach SkyBrowse.
Awesome. So again, can you make sure that you put your information in case someone wants to reach out to you? I did put your LinkedIn in there, and that way they can connect via LinkedIn. Did you develop the 2D and 3D models from scratch, or did they use open source APIs?
All from scratch. Yeah, we coded everything from scratch. There are some open source APIs that we use for exporting the model so that the exports are all standardized with other 3D modeling softwares, but generating the 3D model is all in-house.
All right. More questions into our chat. And also, I was wondering, as far as that tunnel, on the videos that were done, most of the orbits that you required, or you've said are two. You'll do one lower, closer, one farther out, and a little bit higher. When you were doing that tunnel, were there two walkthroughs? And that kind of leads to what Linda is asking about, using a video camera, GoPro, or a 360 when you're doing those walkthroughs.
Yeah. So for interior mapping, we're testing out 360 cameras right now. I actually need to find mine because I have an Insta360 One X that I use for fishing. I just tossed it into a lake and attached my fishing line to see what fish are down there. So I think it's somewhere in my fishing gear or maybe in my car. But I think it's possible with 360 video. For GoPro, I know it's possible. We've done a lot of GoPro mapping. We've attached a GoPro to a Cessna for Civil Air Patrol, and they mapped out an entire coastline in Massachusetts using that. So it's certainly possible with GoPros. Basically, any video can work with SkyBrowse.
Oh, great to know. More questions into the chat, and metadata, GPS, etc., needs to be embedded into the video file.
So a lot of the interior models I showed you was actually created with the default camera app on my iPhone. I didn't use any specialty apps or anything like that. The video itself doesn't contain GPS metadata, but you can do this right here where you scale a model. So suppose I'm in a 3D model like this right here, and I know that the say this window right here is 5 feet. If I take this scale tool right here and put 5 as the known measurement, now all of my measurements are accurate to that scale. So you can see now this is about 5 feet right here, and all your measurements throughout the entire 3D model is now scaled. So it keeps it really easy, allows you to ingest any video, and if you need to show proof that the model is accurate, you can put a known measurement in there, like a ruler or even like a drone takeoff landing pad that you know the dimensions of, and then you can use that to scale the model and also show how accurate the model is.
Could I follow up with that then, Desi?
Go right ahead, Bill.
So if you do that with measurement, can you also geolocate a particular point and then it would populate and allow you to know the geolocation of all the points in the image, in the 3D map?
That's something that we're going to build out. I think Q2 of this year. So for the most part, if you're not using universal upload, so cell phone video or whatnot, if you're flying a drone, all the drone 3D models are georeferenced. And this is
Right.
only for cell phone videos that you're capturing, where
Right.
it doesn't have GPS data. And I think if I pull up a model of, say, the NFL model, for instance, if I pull that up, or ooh, here's a interesting model. We've got a bunch of cool models on our use cases page. So here's a beached whale used for NOAA, just to see the age of the whale itself. It was beached, so they made a 3D model of it. In the map view right here, you'll see where the pilot took off, as well as where the drone center point is right here. So it's all geo-referenced. It shows the flight path of the drone as well right here. And then when you go into model view, it'll show the 3D model itself. So everything's already geo-referenced. You don't have that bar up top that says you need to scale the model. In this case, it's already scaled right here. So NOAA used this to map out the length of the whale, and they figured out that it was, in fact, a baby whale. So very sad. Very, very sad.
So we do have some more questions in our chat. While we were discussing the actual mapping mission of that whale, I was wondering what drones are actually compatible with the automated flights of the software.
It's a long list, but if you
Oh,
go to
okay.
skybrowse.com/download, I'll walk you through how to download the app itself. So if you go to our webpage and then click on download, it'll take you to this page right here where you got the flight app. So if you choose your platform, iOS or Android or DJI remote controller, you can click on download and it'll download either the APK, take you to the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store right here. And then if you scroll down even further, here's the entire comprehensive list of all the drones that we do support through our autonomous flight app right here, as well as some of the drones that we don't support right here. So I think it's just like Mini 3, Mini 4, all the consumer DJI drones that they released recently, we do not support through our native flight app, but you can use Universal Upload right here, which shows you how to manually fly your drone, record a video like that, and you'll be able to get a 3D model that way. So ultimately, the goal is that we can support all video, and there's multiple ways of making a 3D model with SkyBrowse. So even if you have a drone that's not supported, like DJI Spark, if anyone still has one of those, you can still make a model with the DJI Spark by recording a video using the DJI Go 4 app, and flying it that way.
Fantastic. You're not limited. You know, it's amazing that you've already incorporated so many drones, but you're not limited if that is not what they're flying. And seeing this list here really complements a lot of the schools and STEM. And so you really can incorporate it into the educational field. Linda had a question in the chat about in the measurements, how does she stay out of trouble by measuring since she is not a surveyor? Man, that's a great question.
How far does the building need to be away from the drone? Ideally, you want to, if you're doing a manual flight capture, you want to capture the entire scene in your frame itself. So if you're looking at a building, all of the building should be in your drone frame itself. If the building is too tall, then multiple orbits would solve that problem by doing the first orbit manually around the building, capturing, say, the bottom third, and then the middle third, and the top third, like that. And of
So
course, the software is free to play around with, so you can test it out and see what works best for you as well. We have a bunch of tutorials on our website. I wrote them all as well, and there's a bunch of videos on our website as well. If you go to skybrowse.com/tutorial, and there's a very comprehensive write-up as well as like a 5 bullet points summary on the top.
So you have done a lot of work. So can you do this with, I'm going to circle back to Linda's question in a second. Can you do more than 2 flights?
Yeah, absolutely. You could you can record videos as long as you like. Usually most videos are shorter than 5 minutes. I think we actually kind of blundered. Drone DJ released interior mapping article on us yesterday, and it hasn't been released to the public yet. It's just for internal testing, and they made it seem like it's available. So a bunch of people have been recording interior maps and getting bad looking 3D models because it's not released fully to the public. And we got like a 24-minute video, which has been clogging up our servers. So for the most part, just a minute or two video is more than enough. Like I got 3 rooms in this apartment done in like 2.5 minutes. So it shouldn't take that long to capture all that data.
Gotcha. Circling back to a question of Linda's is, if she is not a surveyor, how does she stay out of trouble when she's providing measurements using the software?
You could scale the model itself with the known measurement in the 3D model. So if you put like a tape measure down and use that to scale the model itself, then you could say that this is the model scale. It shows what the scale is on the bottom of your 3D model. And here are the measurements as is. So that would be able to show that the model is to scale that way.
Gotcha. And John's going to reach out to you about the educational license. I think Desi's going to as well. And
Also, I just want to add in on to my point. Our models have gone through, a lot of our models have gone through court for evidentiary purposes, for fatality accidents, crime scene investigation, where the accuracy needs to be of the utmost importance. So that would be a good talking point in terms of testifying on the accuracy of the measurements within SkyBrowse.
awesome. Audrey said, happy that you survived the crash. It's amazing what something in your life will do to spark an idea. You know, it's just amazing. And Sheila is already reaching out and going to be trying it today. And we already answered the question about the distance in there. And everybody is loving how simplified it is. And it is. And so we are just about out of time. And so can people just reach out to you if they have questions? Do you have any last minute things that you would like to share? Because we only have about 3 minutes left before we segue and allow people to go to their next Zoom meeting, right?
Yeah, if you subscribe to our newsletter, we do post when we release new updates. And also we have it's not SkyBrowse related, it's a podcast called Drones After Dark, where we, it's inspired by our conference shenanigans, where we get drunk at conferences and curse and gossip about drones. So we invite our friends from the industry over and do exactly that. Join us for that podcast. You'll get notifications on that podcast from our newsletter. And yeah, thanks everyone for attending and listening to me talk about SkyBrowse.
Awesome. And I was there. Some of our attendees today was there for the one yesterday. Fantastic. It's so educational. Your podcasts are wonderful. A lot of people saying thank you, amazing, and great information in there. Hopefully they reach out and sign up, and love what you're doing. Can't wait to see the announcement hopefully tomorrow, right?
Fingers crossed. I'm going to be coding right after this. So
Your
that's the
fingers
goal.
will be
Gonna get it
typing.
done.
Oh,
Yep.
Olga said excellent. She was really excited about the program as well. Neat stuff. Great stuff. A lot of comments still coming in. Bobby, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for what you're doing, because it's amazing work. You are truly a genius. So thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Have a
We'll see
great
ya.
day. Yes. Thank you very much.
You too. Bye.
Bye. That kind of wraps it up.